How is Chase adjusted to playing with the wrist, and what have you seen from him rebounding wise?
I think his wrist is gotten better. He's been allowed to practice. When he first hurt it, I think it was on a shot, if I'm not mistaken. I think it was on a shot attempt against TCU. So, he was having to um, get a lot of treatment from John and wanting to get out there. But Chase is um, he's really athletic, more athletic than you would think. I remember when we beat Texas Tech here, he blocked a shot that surprised me. But um, just his athleticism and his bounce, um, he's a threat to make a three. The other night he had 7 rebounds, and I thought in that last 7 minute stretch where I think we were down 20. We came back and cut it to 12 or 13. Bill had to call timeout. I thought Chase's energy, along with Mercy's energy, had a lot to do with that. And JoJo. JoJo was really playing hard.
Thank you, Chris. We'll go to Chancellor Johnson next, please. Chancellor, please go ahead.
Hey, good morning, Kelvin. Can you
Good
hear me?
morning. Good morning. Good morning, Chester.
There we go. There we go. Cool. You mentioned before that losing doesn't losing doesn't bother you, and for something like this, you've seen this before, coaching. But for your other
Just,
players, including your
just,
seniors,
just,
they
uh, just in everything, there's context to that.
sure. But for your seniors, they haven't even experienced something like this. How does a moment like this challenge you or make you better as a coach?
Um, well, I've been through it a lot, so um, it's not about me. It's about the team. And we had yesterday off. Today we'll come in and watch film, but we'll not practice. So we'll have 2 days off in practice. We'll watch film. We'll reset our goals and come in tomorrow, have a good practice, and get ready to beat Colorado.
Thank you, Chancellor. We'll go to Greg Bailey with KTRK TV. Greg, please go ahead.
Kelvin, good morning. And your post game at Kansas, you really seemed to like what that last group gave you the last 9, 10 minutes, whatever it was. Are you seeing enough from those guys where they might get some more minutes to maybe take some of the load off of your starters? Because you also mentioned the tired legs.
Well, it wasn't just tired legs. Milos was a game time decision. Um, at pregame meal, John said he didn't think Milos could go, and so I think I asked Milos what his decision was after I got to the gym. Um, I went around to the players' locker room and I saw that he was getting dressed. And I asked him, was he a go? He said yes. And then Emmanuel, with his hip, he had 2 bad falls against Arizona. And then he had a really bad fall where I had to go out on the court. I think we stopped play. We had to go out on the court and help him off. So um, those 2 guys were obviously less than 100%. But that also gave me a chance to get Mercy in there, um, Chase, JoJo, Kingston, and Chris. I think that's the team that finished the game. So, yeah, this time of year, I don't know if any team's fully healthy. Um, we this was obviously a tough stretch. It wasn't just any normal 3 games. I mean, it was top 5 team in the country on the road on Monday, um, top 3 team in the country on Saturday, and then the team that has already beaten Arizona. They beat Iowa State by 20. They beat somebody else on Monday. So, um, but really overreact to a lot around here. Never have. Got a game on Saturday. Do the best we can to get our kids healthy. Got a great trainer. And John, that was another big reason why we gave him 2 days off. There's no way Milos or Emmanuel could have practiced yesterday anyway. I doubt I'm pretty sure neither one could practice today. So hopefully they'll be able to do something tomorrow with their injuries. And then Friday's the day before, and we'll play Saturday.
We'll go to Manav Gupta, please. Manav, please go ahead.
Hey, Coach, good morning.
Good morning.
Both you and the team had kind of mentioned over this past week some of the little things during the game. I know you guys had kind of ran out of gas in the second half and the shots weren't falling, but did you feel like the team maybe did better in some of those little things, and whether those were like the long rebounds or just stuff like that?
Yeah, I think the number one thing, Manav, was being in the right spots in our pick and roll coverage. Like, we didn't do a very good job of Iowa State stretched us out, and with their pick and roll offense, they just stretched us, and then they hurt us down the middle. Arizona really didn't. They just played They just played iso ball. They just picked out who they wanted to go at, and they went at them, and they won the battle, and they scored. So if the team's playing one-on-one, or we're playing in space one-on-one, there's not a lot of turnovers going to be had. So that's why there's not a lot of turnovers in the Arizona game. But I thought we were much better in that area in the Kansas game. We scored 14 points off their turnovers. So there was some improvement there, but there's other areas we got to continue to work at to improve.
Thank you, Manav. We'll go to Joseph Duarte from the Houston Chronicle. Joseph, please go ahead.
Hey, good morning, Kelvin, and apologies for the technical difficulties there at the beginning.
No worries. No worries.
Kelvin, if I could follow up, what was Milos's game time decision about?
Well, he's had two really bad ankle sprains. One was getting better, then he flipped the other one, and then it was, but it was also the outside of his foot. I'm pretty sure you guys will be talking to our kids whenever you talk to them. John will give you a better definition, but that's basically what it was. And but John didn't think that he would play, but Milos decided to give it a go, and I thought he did the best he could. You know, he just couldn't move real good on that foot, and that was a big reason why I took him out. I think it was around the 8-minute mark. And then Emmanuel just couldn't move, you know, just immobile. So
My other question was, has Ramon been available?
yes.
Is there, I know he's sort of been one of the guys off the bench, first couple of guys. I mean, is it just a matter of need and what you, at the moment, or is there anything more you can elaborate on him?
No, Chase, I think at that spot, you can't split the time. You have to choose which one you're going to give the minutes to. We're not going to sit here and say, let's give him 2 minutes and him 2 minutes and him 2 minutes. Sometimes you chase two rabbits there, you won't catch either one. So Ramon's been doing well in practice. We just decided to go with Chase.
Okay, thank you.
You bet.
Thank you, Joseph. We'll go back to Chris Baldwin, please. Go ahead, Chris.
Kelvin, with one more win, Colorado will double its Big 12 wins from last year. What have you seen from Ted Boyle's team?
Well, first of all, Ted Boyle. He's one of the best coaches in this league. He's been doing it a long time. And he does it his way. He brings in under the radar guys, and then does an unbelievable job of developing them. His freshman guard, I know Tad loves him. Tad thinks he has a chance to play in the NBA one day. Um, the Johnson kid, left-hander, 6'1", just crafty. Aren't all left-handers crafty? They just seem to be, pitchers and players. Um, then uh, he starts two freshmen, brings a couple off the bench. Their front line from last year's back, and Dak and Rensick. And that's huge in today's climate, being able to return guys, and because obviously they're going to be better in their second year than their first year. That's been a big secret to our big secret sauce for us is we got LJ in his second year, Milos in his second year. Uh, I wish we could have Khalifa one more year. Um, but they got good players, talented. Um, they're a solid Big 12 team, which means they can compete with teams on the road and beat a bunch of them at home.
Thank you. We'll go back to Chancellor Johnson, please. Chancellor, please go ahead.
Hey, Kelvin, it's obviously pretty rare when a team of yours gives up a double digit, run, 10 run or so. Obviously, you're playing good teams. Is there one thing that you can point to? Is there a common denominator, or is each game different from in your eyes?
Giving up what?
Like a 10-0 run, it happened obviously, like I said, against good teams. Is there a common denominator here for you
You
in
just
each of the?
you just pretty much answered your own question. Um, it would be the same as asking a team why they give up a 10-0 run to us, right? Because we're a good team. Um, we started the game off with a bunch of wide open shots. You remember that, Chancellor?
I do, yes.
Okay. Well, we were missing, right? Trying to come.
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to break this down for you, Chancellor. Because I've noticed you try to make things way more complicated, and you're really focused on the deep storylines. Whereas with me, that's just not going to happen. But when one team's scoring and the other team's not, that means there's going to be a something to zero run. I mean, fortunately for us over the years, we've seen that a lot of times. Um, Iowa State did it to us. Um, I think we did it to Tech a couple of times where Kingston got going and we got some stops. Um, BYU, we went on a run, but they're all the same. When you miss shots, the other teams are a lot of times it can be one of the biggest issues for us is, and trust me, we work on this, is the free throw line. A lot of times the team will score 2 baskets and 8 free throws, or 2 baskets and 6 free throws. Like the other night, Kansas went 18 for 20 from the free throw line. So once they got to the bonus, they were getting free points. That wasn't against our defense. That was free throws. Some of those were probably good calls. Some of them were probably road calls. That happens to everybody. We get the same thing here. But um, I think that's the biggest thing for us is when the team goes on the run, it's the fouls, the free throw line disparity really comes into play there. And that's something we got to continue to work and get better at.
Thank you, Chancellor. We'll go back to Manav Gupta, please. Manav, go ahead.
Hey, Coach. I believe Kingston had a career high 8 rebounds against Arizona. I was curious if you seen improvement in terms of his rebounding. I know he's one of the taller guards on the team, but I was just curious about that, and maybe if you've seen improvement in defense over the course of this month.
Yeah, how tall you are has nothing to do with rebounding. Manoff. Um, but since I've been here, so this is our 12th year saying this, you can't be a good rebounding team unless you have good rebounding guards. Um, and that's not an area that I don't think we've been great at that the last couple years. Um, Emmanuel and Milos both can be more consistent in that area. But Kingston's probably been our best rebounding guard this year. Um, Isaiah's a solid rebounder too. I'd say Isaiah and Kingston's been our two best rebounding guards.
Thank you, Mano. We'll go back to Chris Baldwin, please. Go ahead, Chris.
Kelvin, Kingston set the all-time record for most points scored by a Houston freshman. Um, Obviously, you knew he was going to be really good when you brought him in, but did you, know he'd be this prolific a scorer?
Um, well, I mean, I don't. Kingston was always capable of being what you ask him to do. I saw high school games where he got 40. I saw high school games where he got 16 and 14 assists. Um, you know, Kingston has the ability to get in the paint. He's really improved his shooting since he's been here. But that's why you don't draw conclusions on guys from one year to the next. Not everybody's Mark Belanger, those shortstop for the Orioles. Those guys get tagged with no hit, good field because that's there's a guy over there with the Minnesota Twins called Rod Carew who's hitting about 370. So Mark Belanger gets his average of 240, 250, 260, which is pretty good, but he's still a no hit, good field shortstop. Kingston was his biggest question mark coming in was probably his outside shooting. Still not a great shooter, but he's certainly much improved. I wouldn't tell it. I would I wouldn't call him a non-shooter. I would call him a streaky shooter. But I don't think we're going to confuse him with L.J. Cryer yet or Armani Brooks.
We got time for a couple more questions if anybody has them. I don't see any hands raised.
Jeff, I'm having trouble doing the raised hand. I sent you a text. I do have one.
Okay, go ahead, Joseph.
Kelvin, a couple of games ago, you mentioned inside maybe the lack of a consistent presence or a guy that can take double teams. Is that just a product of you have it or you don't on the roster, or is there ways that you can position guys or use guys differently that maybe helps alleviate some of the absence there?
Yeah, that's something we're actually working on. Chris is, just because you're 6'10" doesn't mean automatically that you're going to be a low post scorer. And just because you're 6 foot doesn't mean you can't average 10 rebounds a game or be a really good finisher at the rim. A lot of it comes down to your individual strengths and weaknesses. When we recruited Chris, he was never an inside guy. Just was more of a short roll guy, could play at the free throw line area, off short rolls, pick and pops, streaky shooter. But with a streaky shooter, you always got to give him an opportunity to make because you never know. We've had games this year where Chris has shot it fine. We've had some games where he hasn't shot it fine. But the two biggest issues the last two games is the two of the best defensive centers in the country is Kripis and Badunga. So obviously they're not going to come double if you throw it in the post because they let those two guys play one-on-one. I think if the vote was held right now, probably the defensive player of the year in the Big 12 would be Badunga. He's an outstanding one-on-one defender. They don't bring double
Really?
teams with him much. I'm not saying they haven't. I haven't watched all their games, but they haven't against us. And that's for two reasons. And the same thing with Previs. He's 7'2" and 260. And, last year we had J1 Roberts, who we could attack at the top of short rolls, and then he could get to his left hand. And I think it took J1 4 years to develop that. And I think if Chris stayed here, I think he'd be really good at that too. But you don't develop that in 5 months. It takes time, as it does anything. That's why some years you're better than others. But I look at all of our players in this program, I think they've all improved. But they're going to improve a lot more next year. And then they would be more better the following year. Last year's team was the team that we took out of the oven. It had a fifth-year senior in LJ, a six-year senior in J1, a six-year senior in Malik, fourth-year senior in JDR. So this team there is no comparison to last year's team and this year's team. Last year's team was ready to win a national championship. This team is a developing team, and I've had a ton of fun coaching this team, excited about them. The fact that we've got 3 games left, and we've got a chance to finish in the top 2 in the conference, chance to have the best seeding we can, whatever that is, and opportunity to play close to home. Those opportunities still exist. Doesn't mean that we're going to reach them, but they still exist, and I'm excited about that.
Last question of the day. We'll go to Chris Baldwin, please. Go ahead, Chris.
Hey, Kelvin, building off that last one, can Khalifa be one of those guys you play through in the post, and how much did him not having an off season sort of set you back?
Both him and JoJo, I would say the same for that, Chris. JoJo was on a good path. I don't know if you guys can remember the end of last season, but we were playing through JoJo a lot, especially when teams defended the pick and roll a certain way. We would play below them. But that team had was the best 3-point shooting team that we've had. Now we've struggled at the 3-point line this year, which has made it a little more defenses guard us differently. But there's no question that JoJo's been without a summer, and Khalifa been without a JoJo not only didn't have a summer, he didn't have a fall either. And we didn't get him back to the end of October. We didn't get Khalifa back end of October. So now this will be it for Khalifa. But we do stuff every day in practice, Chris, to develop our guys, and when they show signs or we have confidence in them that they can do certain things, then we give them a chance to show it. But we've got 3 games left in the regular season, and we're still working hard every day to get better, to improve individually and as a team.